So help you God?
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Secretary.
Pete Hegseth was sworn in Saturday morning as the next U.S. Defense Secretary, after narrowly securing enough votes for the position.
The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the nomination is confirmed.
The tie-breaking vote was made Friday night by Vice President J.D. Vance, after 3 Republicans joined every Democrat and independent in voting no.
I'm honored to have Pete. I think Pete's going to be a great Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and we're honored to have him.
It was only the second time in history a cabinet nominee needed a tie-break to be confirmed. The 3 Republican senators who voted against Hegseth were Senators Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Mitch McConnell, who was the party's leader in the chamber until this month. In a statement, McConnell said, quote, "Mere desire to be a change agent is not enough to fill these shoes." Hegseth, a former Fox News personality and decorated veteran, is the most divisive candidate to clinch the U.S. military's top job, a position that has historically gone to individuals with deep experience running large organizations and who enjoy broad bipartisan support. His nomination was rocked by a series of accusations, including one this week by his former sister-in-law, who said he abused his second wife to the extent that she hid in a closet and had a cold word with friends if she had to be rescued. Hegseth strongly denied the accusations, and his wife had previously denied any physical abuse. Hegseth will lead 1.3 million active duty service members and the nearly 1 million civilians who work for the U.S. military, which has a nearly $1 trillion annual budget.
Israeli forces killed 22 people in South Lebanon on Sunday as a deadline for their withdrawal passed, said Lebanese authorities. Thousands of people tried to return to their South Lebanon homes on Sunday in defiance of Israeli military orders. Lebanon's health ministry said 22 were killed and 124 wounded throughout the south because of what it described as Israeli attacks on citizens while they were trying to enter their still-occupied towns. Lebanon's U.S.-backed military, which reported one of its soldiers among those killed, has accused Israel of procrastinating in its withdrawal. The Israeli military said that it, quote, fired warning shots to remove threats in a number of areas where suspects were identified approaching the troops. This Lebanese man says that it's unfair to say they're forbidden from their homes after they've waited more than a year and 4 months to return. On Friday, Israel said it would keep troops beyond the Sunday deadline, set out in a U.S.-brokered ceasefire that halted last year's war with Hezbollah. The agreement set out a 60-day timeline for implementation. Israel said Lebanon had not yet fully enforced terms, requiring the south to be free of Hezbollah arms and the Lebanese army to be deployed. The Hezbollah-Israel conflict was fought in parallel with the Gaza war and peaked in a major Israeli offensive that uprooted more than 1 million people in Lebanon and left the Iran-backed group badly weakened. An Israeli military spokesperson said the Israeli army would in the near future inform residents of places to which they can return. UN officials in Lebanon said conditions were not yet in place for the safe return of Lebanese citizens to villages near the border. The White House said on Friday that a short, temporary ceasefire extension was urgently needed.
South Korea has released the initial findings of a probe into the crash of a Jeju air flight last month, but mysteries remain. All 175 passengers and 4 of 6 crew were killed in the incident, making it the worst ever air crash on South Korean soil. Now investigators say they have found duck remains in both engines of the Boeing 737-800. They also confirm that the pilots reported a bird strike. But it's still unclear why the plane landed with its wheels up. It's also a mystery why voice and data recorders, the so-called black boxes, both failed just before pilots declared an emergency. At the moment they failed, data showed the plane was still flying. Investigators are also probing the role played by airport structures. After it touched down, the airliner ploughed into an embankment built around navigation equipment at Muan Airport. Critics have said the structure contributed to the high death toll and should not have been located in line with the runway. The International Civil Aviation Organization, a UN agency, requires accident investigators to submit a preliminary report within 30 days. It then encourages them to produce a final report within 12 months. South Korean investigators have promised an all-out effort to determine the full causes of the crash. TikTok's fate in the US remains up in the air. Reuters sources said Sunday that Perplexity AI has submitted a new merger proposal to the video app's Chinese owner, ByteDance. That would create a new entity combining TikTok's US operations with the search engine startup. The proposal calls for the US government to own up to 50% of the new company upon a future share offering. But that's just one of many possibilities that could be in play. Over the weekend, US President Donald Trump told reporters on Air Force One that he was talking to numerous parties.
I've spoken to many people about TikTok, and there's great interest in TikTok. And as you know, I have the right to sell it or close it, depending on what I think is best for the country.
Trump said he would probably make a decision over the next 30 days. Earlier, Reuters reported that the administration is working on a plan to tap Oracle for a deal. The US tech giant already provides the foundation for TikTok's web infrastructure. At an event last week, Trump said he'd be happy to see TikTok sold to Tesla boss Elon Musk or Oracle chief Larry Ellison, who was standing alongside him at the time.
Are you open to Elon buying TikTok?
I would be if he wanted to buy it, yeah.
And on your inauguration,
I'd like Larry to buy it too.
The Reuters sources say the terms of any Oracle deal remain very fluid, and Trump says he hasn't actually spoken to Ellison about it. US billionaire Frank McCourt is another to express an interest.
The bid we put in was for all of US TikTok without the Chinese technology.
Speaking to Reuters at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, he said he could team up with others on a bid and had already been approached with financing offers. TikTok had faced a ban in the US over national security concerns, but has been reprieved by Trump while he decides on a course of action.
As tens of thousands of displaced Palestinians were blocked from going home to northern Gaza on Sunday, many rejected a suggestion by US President Donald Trump for Jordan and Egypt to take in Gazans, either temporarily or permanently. Trump told reporters on Saturday he asked Jordan's King Abdullah during a call to take people from Gaza, describing the war-torn enclave as a demolition site. He added that he was set to speak to Egypt's president on Sunday. Trump said he wanted to get Arab nations to build housing at a different location for Gazans, suggesting, quote, "We just clean out that whole thing." One Hamas official told Reuters Palestinians would reject any such offers, even if they, quote, "appear to have good intentions under the guise of reconstruction." The remark echoes the people's long-standing fears about being driven permanently from their homes. Palestinian analyst Ghassan al-Khatib said he believes Trump is looking to resolve Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's political woes over the war.
I think this dramatic statement from President Trump about transferring Palestinians from Gaza into Jordan and Egypt came in order to try to rescue Netanyahu from sinking in the sands of Gaza. And I don't think that there is a place in reality for such an idea.
Jordan's foreign minister said on Sunday the country was firm in its stance against any displacement of Palestinians from Gaza, and Egypt has expressed a similar stance several times before. In central Gaza, this Palestinian said he completely rejected Trump's proposed solution, while another displaced man slammed it as a futile attempt to drive us away from our Palestinian land. They were among the many northern Gazans who had been stuck at roadblocks trying to get home, while mediators held talks with Hamas and Israel to resolve a dispute over the ceasefire deal. Israel had refused to reopen checkpoints to the north, saying the Palestinian militant group failed to release a hostage on Saturday or hand over a list of details about captives who were alive. while Hamas blamed Israel for the delay, accusing it of stalling.